dear students, welcome all of you. Good morning. Now today I am going to start with our PPS video series, and in a last lecture we already completed the syllabus of our subjects. There are 10 different units we have to learn. Now in today's lecture I am going to explain the first chapter, that is Introduction to Computer and Programming. So let's start with our first topic. Here the weightage of this chapter in a GTU is 11%. There are mainly 4 different topics we have to cover to complete the first unit. The first is a block diagram of computer, second is the types of software, third is the types of computer language and translator, and fourth is a problem solving methods. In today's lecture we only complete the first 2, block diagram and types of software. So let's start with the first, block diagram of computer system. Now before starting this, first you all know the definition of computer, what it is. See here the figure of computer. It consists of so many parts like keyboard, mouse, CPU, monitors. So what the actual computer is? So the computer is nothing but the electronic device that take input from the user. The input can be data or information or instructions. That input is taken from the user, process that data and generate some meaningful information as an output. So the definition of computer is what? It is an electronic device that take data from the user, process that data and generate the meaningful information as an output. Now start the main topic, computer system diagram. Obviously the first is always input. So the input unit is there to accept the data from the user. The example of input unit is from the keyboard, mouse. In a game you can use joystick, then trackballs. These are the examples of our input unit. This data is stored in our memory, that is primary memory. The example of primary memory is RAM. The full form is random access memory. This primary memory is a volatile kind, meaning is it is a temporary storage. If the computer is switched off, then our data is lost. This is what? Primary memory. Now, after storing the data, we have to process that data, and for that we are using CPU. So, CPU, the full form is Central Processing Unit, that is the combination of these 2 parts, ALU and CU. The full form of ALU is Arithmetic and Logical Unit that perform arithmetic operation like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and logical means our OR gate, NOT gate. These all are the logical operations. So these all the operations doing in a ALU. Second part of CPU is a control unit that controls the all other units like input, memory and output unit. So the CPU is nothing but the brain of our computer systems that takes the whole decision of all other units, that controls all the hardware parts of a computer system. Now the second kind of memory is a secondary memory unit. So what is the difference between primary and secondary memory? As you discussed, primary memory is a temporary memory, means data is lost. But the secondary memory is opposite to it, means it is a non-volatile kind. Non-volatile means the data stores permanently. When you are saving your data, it never lost. That is secondary memory. The example is ROM, read-only memory, or hard disk, or a CD or a DVD. So these are the example of a secondary memory. Now last unit is a output unit. Means after processing the data, some output is generated and that is displayed using our output unit. The example of output unit is like monitor, printer, speakers and much more. So these all the units we can say that our hardware. So the computer system consists of two things, hardware and software. The keyboard, mouse, that input, then RAM, ROM, then monitors, CPU, these all parts are nothing but our hardwares, and second part is a software. So let's move to the difference between hardware and software. So according to it, the hardware is nothing but the physical part of computer, but the software means set of instructions, or we can say the program, that is known as software. Second difference is hardware cannot perform any task without software, and software cannot be executed without hardware. So these two are the dependent on each other. Hardware cannot run without software and software not be executed without hardware. For example, you have all the devices of computer but you are not install any operating system in your computer, then obviously they are meaningless. So the operating system is one software, and keyboard, mouse and other things we can say that our hardware. So these two are the dependent on each other. Third one is what? Hardware we can see, we can touch, we can feel, but the software we cannot touch, we cannot feel, we cannot touch, see or feel. Now the next difference is, if some problem is occurred in hardware, then we are repair it, but in case of software we cannot repair it, we have to debug it. And if the problem is not solved, then what we have to do? In a hardware we have to replace it, but in a software we have to reinstall again. So these many topics are nothing but the difference between hardware and software. Now move to the second part of our unit, that is types of software. What is software? It is a set of instructions. There are two different types of software here. First is a system software and second is a application software. Start with very first, what is system software? According to the name of this word system, it is compulsory to run the system. Without it, our computer system can't be run. So it is nothing but the interface between user and system. It is a interface between system and a user. How? Suppose in a computer, no any operating system, no any software, and user want to connect with them, then it is possible? No, obviously it is not possible. So the system software is nothing but one intermediate interface for a connecting user with the system. These functions are performed using system software. Very first is a file management. In our computer or in our laptop, there are so many files are there, like Word file, that is our document file, then Excel, or we can say presentation file, PPT files. These all files we can manage using file management using system software. You can create the file, you can update the file, rename the file, change the path of files. These all the operations are doing using system software. Second is a memory management. There are two kinds of memory, primary and secondary. So for example, in a primary memory, RAM, we are storing data? No. The primary memory is for what? For execution. But when the power is off, the data is lost. So we have to save that data in a secondary memory. So the memory management concept is like that. When we are creating something, for example in a files we are making some editing, then when we store that that data will be stored in a secondary memory. So this all the operations of memory management will be done using system software. The same third features is like for a secondary memory, secondary storage management. Secondary storage means you all know the hard disk, CD, DVD, pen drive. So all the operations regarding these units, secondary storage, we have to need system software. Now the fourth one is a process management. Obviously, suppose when I am making presentations, I also listen the music. Then what happened? There are two simultaneous processes done in our computer. First is a presentation also, and second is a VLC media player something. So these two processes simultaneously manage. How? Using this system software. And last is nothing but the peripheral device management. All the external devices which we can attach with our computer, like printers or pen drives, this all the devices also managed using the system software. So in shortly we can see like that the system software is a software that controls and manage all the other units of our computer system. Here we can see that the examples of system software. First example is a Windows operating system, the different version of Windows like 7, 10, Vista. And in a second examples, the Linux operating system. Another is a Unix, then Android apps, iOS. These all the operating system we can say that our system software. The another examples is a compiler, assembler, interpreter. These all the words we have to learn in our next video session. So move to the second part, that is a application software. How the application software is different from the system software? Obviously the application word is there, not a system. The system software is mandatory, compulsory to run the system, but the application is not compulsory. Just like it performs some specific task, that is application software. But the application software can't be run without system software. In a simple language we can say that our Word file or our Microsoft Office can't be executed, can't be started without operating systems, as you all know it. So the application software compulsorily required thing is system software. Now application software is again divided in a two part. First is a specific purpose, second is a general purpose. So general purpose means what? It is designed and developed for providing many features. Same example here, let's see Microsoft Office that provides so many features, like you can make Word file also, you can make presentation also, you can make Excel file also. So many tasks will be performed using one application, that is general purpose. Now second is a specific purpose, means what? They are doing only just one thing. Here you can see the WhatsApp. WhatsApp is used for what? You all using it, so obviously you are knowing, for a communication with one person to another. Second, YouTube. It is also you are using for uploading videos or watching the videos. So these all are nothing but for one particular specific use, that is known as a specific purpose software. So today in this lecture we cover main two topics. First is a block diagram of computer that will be asked in your GTU exam in a 4 to 5 marks. And second topic that we completed is the types of software. It is again in a 4 to 5 marks. It is very easy topics and this chapter is also easy. So you have to prepare it very well. Now in a next video we cover the next remaining topics of our first chapter. If you have any query in a today's topics, then you are feel free to contact me. Thank you. We will come back very soon.